sixth session of Parliament. This is the 12th Parliament. This live broadcast has been made possible through the collaboration between the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit, and this is in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. A lot has been lined up before the floor this afternoon, with the order paper filled with motions set for debate before the floor. And just to mention some of them is that the House will be considering the report of the Committee of the Whole House on the National Electronic Single Window Bill. This is a bill from the National Assembly, Bill 15 of the year 2021 by the Leader of Majority. Another key motion that will be considered by the House this afternoon is a report on the consideration of the Special Audit Report on the utilization of the COVID-19 funds by the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. And this particular motion is by the Chairperson, Public Accounts and Investment Committee. The implementation status of the report on the petition by former workers of the late Mayor Jacob Samuels, and this is in regards to the invasion and eviction from their land by the Kenya Defence Forces, is also another motion set for debate before the floor this afternoon. The Chairperson Special Funds Accounts Committee will be moving a motion, and this is on the 11th report on the audited financial statements for the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, and this is for the 26 constituencies in the coastal region. Implementation status of the report on a petition on irregular renewal of leases of Matters Land by Del Monte Kenya Limited is also another motion that has been given priority before the floor this afternoon. And that particular motion will be moved by the Chairperson Committee on Matters Implementation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The business of the House is about to kick off any minute from now. And just to highlight is that another special motion is on regards to the recess of the House, which is set to commence today upon the conclusion of debate today. And that particular adjournment of the House for recess will go until the Tuesday, 10th of May, the year being 2022. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Justine Muturi, will be presiding over the business of the House this afternoon. I'm now handing over. We follow up on the live broadcast. Good afternoon.
Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come at our deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests were committed to our church. Amen. Ring the quorum bell, please.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Justin Muturi, has directed for the quorum bell to commence ringing, and this is for a period of 10 minutes. And this particular move has been necessitated by the fact that the House lacks the requisite quorum to commence business this afternoon. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders number 28, subsection 3, and this particular standing order is in relation to the calendar of the National Assembly and the resolution of the House on Wednesday, the 2nd of February 2022, the Speaker will notify that upon the rise of the House at appointed time today, regular sittings of the National Assembly will go for an adjournment and resume on Tuesday, 10th of May 2022 at 2:30 p.m. After that particular notification has been made, a question will be put for members to vote for the House to take a break, popularly known as recess, and resume with its business in the month of May. The member for Busia County, Honorable Florence Mutua, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for matters national planning to explain the circumstances under which one Eric Isaiah Weunda, unemployment number 198-405-1635, also an accountant at the then Ministry of Finance, was interdicted from service on the 4th of May 2015. Florence Mutua, the Honourable Member for Busia County, will also seek to understand why the said officer is yet to be reinstated, and this is despite a recommendation made by the Public Service Commission on the 19th of March 2020, and what the steps the ministry has taken to ensure his immediate reinstatement and matters payment of his accrued dues for the time of interdiction till to date. The question by Honourable Member for Busia County, that is pursuant to Standing Orders number 42A, subsection 5, will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Matters Labour and Social Welfare. The member for Mwingi Central, Honourable Gideon Muliungi, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Matters Tourism what are the steps the ministry is taking in place to resolve matters human-wildlife conflict cases in Mwingi Central constituency, and this is in particular to those resulting from the attacks by elephants that have continued to endanger the lives of residents, as well as cause the destruction of crops and other properties, and this is especially in Ukasi, Musovo, Kiwanza, Muyuni, Sosoma, and as well as Sosoma areas. The Honourable Member for Mwingi Central also seeks to understand that could the Cabinet Secretary also carry out investigations to establish the magnitude of losses that have been incurred by residents of the constituency in question, and this is as a result of destruction caused by elephants in the area over the past 3 years. Honourable Muliungi finally will also want to understand when the ministry plans to compensate the victims of the human-wildlife conflict in Mwingi Central constituency, particularly in Ukasi, Mwesovo, Kiwanza, Muyuni, and Sosoma areas. His questions will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Matters Environment and Natural Resources. The member for Emuhaya, Honourable Omboko Milemba, will be asking the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government when will the ministry recruit assistant chiefs in Ebusiubi, and Ebukaya sub-counties. And this is in a Makunda location, a Muhaya sub-county. And this is also considering that the sub-locations have not had a substantive assistant chief. And this is for the last 2 years. And according to the Member of Parliament, this has been hindering the delivery of services to residents. This particular question by Honourable Member for Emuhaya will be replied before the Departmental Committee on Matters Administration and National Security. The quorum bell keeps ringing. Members of the National Assembly are making their way into the chamber 10 minutes after the usual time when business of the House is set to commence. The House is yet to start the consideration of key bills on the floor of the House. According to the signal by the Sergeant at Arms, the quorum has been achieved. I'll now hand over for the live broadcast. My name is Gladys Mungai. Enjoy your viewing.
Kill. We may commence. We now have the quorum.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Just take your seat to clear this preliminary business. Honourable members, as you are aware, the House is scheduled to proceed on a long recess from tomorrow, 15th of April 2022, to the 9th of May 2022. We shall resume on the 10th of May. This implies that the House has less than 2 months left before the end of the 6th session, given that the sine die recess will commence on the 6th of June 2022. Honourable members, you may agree with me that this part of the session is always a busy one, with the budget-related businesses and other crucial business being transacted amidst the heightened activities that characterize an election year, as all our members prepare for the general elections. Our members, I take this opportunity to inform the House that from October 2021 up to and including this week, this House has passed over 40 bills, part of which are now pending in the Senate, while others have been assented to. Indeed, since the last session, His Excellency the President has assented to a total of 32 bills, 30 of which originated in the National Assembly, whereas the other 2 originated from the other House. Several of these pieces of legislation were sponsored by the leader of the majority party, 14 were sponsored by committees, and 5 arose from individual members. The list of pieces of legislation assented to is as follows. Those sponsored by the leader of the majority party, being 11, as follows. The Business Laws Amendment Act, number 2 of 2021, the Refugees Act of 2021, the Public-Private Partnership Act 2021, the Proceedings of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Amendment Act 2021, the National Hospital Insurance Fund Amendment Act 2021, the Political Parties Amendment Act number 2022, the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Act 2022, the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute Act 2022, the Waqf Act 2022, the Provident Fund Repeal Act 2022, and the Asian Widows and Orphans Pensions Repeal Act of 2022. B, those sponsored by committees are as follows. 1, the Supplementary Appropriations Act 2021, which was sponsored by the Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Supplementary Appropriations Act number 2 of 2021, which was also sponsored by the Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Division of Revenue Bill, the Revenue Act 2021, which was sponsored by the Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Appropriations Act 2021, the Supplementary Appropriations Act 2022, both sponsored by the Appropriations Committee, as well as the Division of Revenue Bill 2022, sponsored by the same committee. The Kenya Roads Amendment Act 2022, which was sponsored by the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. The Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Act of 2022, which was sponsored by the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. The Finance Act 2021, which was sponsored by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. 10, the Central Bank of Kenya Amendment Act 2021, which was sponsored by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. The Perpetuities and Accumulations Amendment Act 2022, sponsored by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. The Trustees Perpetual Succession Amendment Act 2021, sponsored again by the Finance and Planning Committee. The Copyright Amendment Act, sponsored by the same committee. And the Foreign Service Act 2021, which was sponsored by the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations. C, 5 new pieces of legislation arising from bills sponsored by individual members are as follows. The Law of Succession Amendment Act 2021, sponsored by the member for Homa Bay Town, the Honorable Peter Kaluma. Number 2, the Employment Amendment Act 2021, sponsored by the member for Gilgil constituency, the Honorable Martha Wangari. Number 3, the Kenya Deposit Insurance Amendment Act 2022, which was sponsored by the member for Imenti North, the Honorable Abdurrahim Dawood. Number 4, the Industrial Training Amendment Act 2022, which was sponsored by the member for Kiambu constituency, the Honorable Jude Jomo. And 5, the Employment Amendment Act, sponsored by the nominated member, the Honorable Gideon Ketel, MP. 2 bills originating from the Senate, first being the Early Childhood Education Act 2021 and the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2021. Honourable members, this is a confirmation of our motto that the National Assembly works for Kenyans and our results speak for themselves. I therefore take this opportunity to commend all of you, honourable members, for contributing immensely to the development of law in our country, besides deliberating on and resolving issues affecting the people, the economy, the region, and indeed for putting our beloved nation in a better place within the community of nations. I thank you, honourable members. Next. Point of order. Yeah. Yes, point of order. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for that communication and also thank the individual members, Honorable Jude Jomo, Honorable Gideon Keter, and many others who their private members' piece of legislation have been signed by the President. But Mr. Speaker, part of the laws that you have cited that has been assented to by the President is the one on the Tax Tribunal Amendment Act, which last week I have raised here that I sought a statement that the minister, purportedly, the Minister for Finance, purportedly appointed members to the tax tribunal, contrary to the law that this House has amended, and as you have freely confirmed it in your statement. So, Mr. Speaker, till now, I have no idea. This is a gross violation of an individual and an institution in the executive usurping the powers conferred on another institution, on another arm of government. So, Mr. Speaker, I really wanted your direction on what the Delegated Legislation Committee has so far done on that matter.
The chairman of the committee and the vice chair and the de facto leader of the committee are all absent from the chamber. The chairman, Honorable Kamket, the vice chair, the Honorable Jagagwa, and the Honorable Gitonga Murugara, who seems to run the affairs of the committee, especially in the House, are all absent. Maybe that matter should be handled by the leader of the majority to find out, because it was indeed, although I did indicate that what is clearly provided for in law, and the committee was merely going to confirm that, the law is that appointment of members to the tribunal is a function of the Judicial Service Commission. Indeed, there has been a court decision to that effect, so that anything happening to the contrary, is really maybe something for people to enjoy themselves, or to just make themselves happy in the evenings. But maybe leader majority will pursue with the Committee on Delegated Legislation to see whether they have acted on the issue, the statement sought. Go to the next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of the majority.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, April the 14th, 2021. Legal notice number 46 relating to the Central Bank of Kenya digital credit providers regulations of 2022 and the explanatory memorandum from the Treasury. Number 2 is the budget statement for the financial year 2022 to 2023 from the National Treasury. Number 3, statistical annex to the budget statement for the for the fiscal year 2022-23 from the National Treasury. Number 4, the 2022 medium-term debt management strategy from the National Treasury. Number 5, the 2022 budget policy statement from the National Treasury. Number 6, various draft elections regulations 2022 and the related amendments from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, which are as follows. The draft elections voter registration amendment regulations of 2022. Number B, the draft elections general amendment regulations 2022. The draft elections voter education regulations of 2022. The draft election party primaries and party lists regulations of 2022. And the draft elections technology amendment regulations of 2022. Number 7 is the annual report for the year ending 31st of December 2021 from the National Intelligence Service. Number 8, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2021 and the certificates therein. And these are the State Department for Vocational and Technical Training, Kenya Law Reform Commission, the National Council for Population and Development, and the State Department for Petroleum. Lastly, is the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect to the following institutions for the year ended 30th of June 2020 and the certificates therein. And these are Geothermal Development Company Limited and Pest Control Products Board. Thank you.
Now, Leader of Majority, you were saying among the documents you have laid is one Roman 5 marked 2022 budget policy statement from the National Treasury.
Yes.
For 2022. The standing orders, then it will almost be 2 months late. I think we've already dealt with the budget
we already
policy
dealt with
statement.
it.
So I don't know why it is being tabled today.
We already tabled it. It
Yes.
was committed to the committee. It was discussed.
Yeah.
But they brought it again. But it's probably just the same.
Indeed, the rule is that
Yeah.
the resolution of the House on the budget policy
Yeah.
statement forms the basis of the estimates
Yes.
that are presented
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. So
So it cannot be tabled
Yeah.
today, unless they are tabling it, or they don't know. They don't know why.
just probably a copy for us. But we ignore it for now, having already dealt with it in the
Because
House.
under own standing orders, it
Yeah.
must be tabled before the 15th of February.
And it was done.
And it was done.
Yeah,
Indeed,
so-
the House has already gone through it and even made recommendations,
Yeah.
some of which formed the resolution that informed the budget estimates for 2022-2023,
That's right.
isn't it?
So we
I think that one.
we will consider it
Yeah.
as not tabled.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that particular aspect is expunged from the record. It is expunged. It is expunged. I direct that it be expunged because it's unnecessary. Then next is the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Lands, Honorable Richard Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, April 14, 2022. Report of the Departmental Committee on Lands on its consideration of public petition number 55 of 2021 regarding restoration of land belonging to Mrs. Teresia Wamboi Kesi. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. The chairperson or chairman of the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, the Honorable Richard Tongi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to raise the following paper on the table of the House today, the Thursday, April 14, 2022. Report on the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations on the consideration of the Military Veterans Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2022. I table. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Education and Research, the Honorable Florence Mutua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, April 14th, 2022. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Education and Research on its consideration of 1, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 4 of 2021, and 2, the Higher Education Loans Board Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 52 of 2021. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Next, the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Sophia Abdi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Sam. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, April 14, 2022. The report of the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on its consideration of 1, a petition regarding negligence by the Kenya Wildlife Services in Mituende wildlife circuits, and 2, a petition regarding activities of Zoya Quarry Limited in Kakamega County. Number 3, the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2020. I table and thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7.
Sorry, Honourable members, before we go to order number 7, for the convenience of the House, rearrange business so that we clear the business appearing as order number 8 and 9 before we go to order number 7. Let me first of all do this. But it has not been brought to my attention. Just read out on the number 8. Number 8.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021. Question to be put and that reading.
Bring that. Give me that. Give me that. Sarah, give me that. Honourable members, debate on this motion was concluded in the committee, and what remained is for the question to be put on agreements. I therefore put the question, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021. Will as many as for that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as for the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover? Mover?
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the National Electronic Single System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021, be now read at that time. And let me also take this opportunity to thank the members and especially the Trade Committee for the effort and time they put on this. It's an effort that started quite a while back, and if we all know about the frustrations of clearing goods at the ports and at the various boundaries because of the documentation required, with this national electronic single window system coming into play, we will now obviously be better equipped for tracking of the clearing of goods, which can only be good for increased business for ourselves and the region. I beg to move and request the Honorable Maoka Maore to second.
Very well, honourable members, I therefore propose a question. Honourable Tongi, let's be in the House. I propose a question, which is that the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021, be now read at that time. So the Chair of the House, I put the question, and I confirm that the House quorates. And it's important that there is quorum. I therefore put the question, which is that the National Electronic Single Window System Bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2021, be now read at that time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Member for Wajir North, just remain in the House. Is it because of the electronic single window?
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the establishment and operationalization of the National Electronic Single Window System in order to facilitate trade, the establishment of the Kenya Trade Network Agency to provide for the electronic transaction and for connected purposes. Order number 9, the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2021. Second reading. Question to be put.
Member for Nyando, please. Member for Nyando. Member for Nyando. Sorry. Member for Nyando. So just freeze. The member for Nyando is busy dealing with the director of elections. Let's just clear this business. I therefore put the question to all members that the National Disaster Risk Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2021, be now read a second time. Will as many as for that opinion say aye? Will as many as for contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the National Disaster Risk Management Authority and county disaster risk management committees to provide for a legal framework for the coordination of disaster risk management activities and for connected purposes.
Now we refer to the order paper, we have dealt with order number 8 and 9. Now we can go back to order number 7. Clerk, read it out.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honourable members, the first question is by the member for Busia, the Honourable Florence Mutua. First question, Honourable Mutua.
Yes. How many?
The Honourable Mutua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have question number 111 of 2022 to the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Planning, and it reads, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the circumstances under which one Eric Isaiah Wewunda of ID number 7529457 and employment PIN number 198405165, an accountant in the then Ministry of Finance, was interdicted from service on 4th of May 2015. 2, could the Cabinet Secretary also explain why the said officer is yet to be reinstated despite a recommendation made by the Public Service Commission of 19th March 2020? And 3, could the Cabinet Secretary state the steps that the ministry is taking to ensure his immediate reinstatement and payment of his accrued dues from the time of interdiction to date? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Next question is by the member for Mwingi Central, the Honourable Gideon Mulyungi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask a question number 112 of 2022 to CS Tourism and Wildlife. Number 1, what steps is the ministry taking to resolve human-wildlife conflict cases in Mwingi Central constituency, particularly those resulting from attacks by elephants that have continued to endanger the lives of the residents as well as cause the destruction of crops and other properties, especially in Ukasi, Musovo, Kiwanza, Miuni, and Sosoma areas? Number 2, could the CS carry out investigations to establish the magnitude of the losses that have been incurred by the residents of the constituency as a result of the destruction caused by the elephants in the area over the first 3 years? Number 3, when will the ministry compensate the victims of human-wildlife conflicts in Mwingi Central constituency, particularly in Ukasi, Musovo, Kiwanza, Miuni, and Sosoma areas? Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have an issue of questions which I've asked before.
Now, have you finished this one?
Yeah, I've finished, yes.
This one will be replied to before the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. So what is the issue you want to raise?
I have an issue. I've asked several questions before, and some have not been answered. And the matter was raised here in front of your Deputy Speaker, Chebo.
But you needed to have.
Yes,
you needed to raise. When did you ask the questions?
I asked some questions in the last session.
Last session?
Yes.
But that must
and
have
they have not been answered.
Last session they died. Those ones died.
So when they are not answered, what are you supposed to do?
They just die.
And
you have to
like now,
them. You have to ask them afresh.
Like now, I've asked this one.
Yeah, it is likely to die if you don't.
So I'm supposed to ask it again in the next session.
Yeah. No. Next session will be actually the next parliament. It will be the 13th parliament, most likely. So when you say last session, a session ends when the House proceeds on recess in December.
Yes.
So if the question was asked before the 4th of December, then you must, I don't know, you must have followed the communication I made, that those ones just died. They just die a natural death.
So I'm supposed.
So members who are in that difficulty, immediately we resumed in January. They actually went and revived their questions because that's the rules. Those are the rules, Honorable Mulyungi.
Okay.
So if you ask them in the last session,
yes,
then I'm sorry, they are very dead.
Then I will revive them again, Mr.
Please
Speaker. Thank you for your advice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very well. Next question is by the member for Emuaya, the Honorable Omboko Milemba. The Honorable Omboko Milemba.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was engaged a little with my brother, Hono Mulele, discussing local matters. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 113 of 2022 to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. That when will the ministry recruit assistant chiefs in Ebusiobi and Ebuhaya sublocations in Emakunda location of Emuhaya sub-county, considering that the said sublocations have not had a substantive assistant chiefs for the last 2 years despite interviews having been done, thus hindering delivery of services to the residents. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That will be replied to before the Committee on Administration and National Security. Last question is by the member for Uganda, the Honorable David Ochieng.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question relates to what's ongoing in the country now about phone calls, just dropping. You could be on a phone call and you're being told that the person you're calling is not available and all that. So, Speaker, I wish to direct this question to the Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication, and Technology. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain to Kenyans where there has been an occurrence of calls dropping midway or interference with their phone calls during phone calls, including unstable network all over the country by the mobile phone service providers across the country for the last 6 months, leading to loss of business and opportunities, among others? So, Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary explain what measures the ministry has put in place to end the said occurrence of calls dropping and interferences during calls, including the unstable network by the mobile service providers? And how long will this last? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
After elections, it will stop. Well, who's the current chair of that committee? Is it ICT? Who's the current chair of that committee? No. The Honorable Kisang is no longer the chair. Who? Oh. No, don't refer to people by their nicknames, Honorable Nyamai. The Honorable Jane Jiro.
You have no idea she's a chair.
I also didn't know the current chair. So where's the vice? Is there a vice for that committee? ICT. Or can we, let's have it, Honorable Sotsi is the de facto chair of that committee, I'm sure. Honorable Sotsi, maybe you can.
Mr. Speaker, the Vice Chair is Honorable Nyamita, who is Honorable Nyamita, who is not here. But I think I'll bring up the matter within the committee.
Yes.
Because the issue raised by Honorable Member for Kenya is very important. Drop calls and all that, everyone is experiencing that. So I'll pass the communication to the committee.
Very well.
Thank you.
Maybe then you can also remind the chair. Usually we require chairs to be in the house. Because yes. We'll go to the next segment. Is the statement by there's a request for statement by the member for Kikuyu. There is a request for a statement by the member for Kikuyu. Oh.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, is Commissioner Kainan and the leader of majority.
You know, the way he is dressed, he looks like an elder, which he is indeed.
He's a good elder from Wajir. And I was just commenting, Honorable Speaker, that during this time of Ramadan, he's usually a very good man. Honorable Speaker, I beg to read the following statement regarding the stalled construction works on the ABC Place to Rironi section of the road on the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing regarding the suspension of works by the contractor on the ABC Place, Rironi Road as part of the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. Honorable Speaker, it is of great concern that the contractor constructing the section of the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, that is the ABC Place to Rironi area, and particular sections in Kikuyu constituency, has suspended works since early March 2022. Honorable Speaker, the contractor avers that they are owed billions of shillings by the government of Kenya, and which have remained unpaid for an inordinately long period of time, forcing the contractor to suspend works on that very busy highway. Honorable Speaker, it's noted that the contract period at the time of award of the contract was a 3-year contract, and the project was to take approximately 3 years. And it is now in the 5th year, even as it stalls and the contractor has moved out of the site. The contractor is suspending works as a result. The contractor's suspension of works has resulted in residents of Kangemi, Othero 87, and Kino, particularly those along the Kino Chiefs Collector Road and the Kariango Kanyarere Collector Road number 6, to be greatly inconvenienced, considering that the contractor had actually dug up the collector roads and sections of the highway, which are now left undone, causing a great risk to road users on the otherwise very busy highway. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works, and Housing on the following. 1, could the chairperson explain when is the ministry settling the pending bills owed to the contractor as per the contractual agreements on the construction of the ABC Place, Rironi section of the road of the Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, a project that is a major link road to the greater East African region? 2, could the chairperson further explain measures put in place by the ministry to ensure that the construction works are resumed on the said road and when it is projected to be completed, including the collector roads in Kikuyu constituency, and in particular, the Kino Chiefs Road, Collector Road number 5, and Kariango Kanyarere Road, Collector Road number 6. 3, could the chairperson explain what measures has the ministry put in place to ensure that the section of the road between Kino Chiefs to Muthega and Kariango areas is made motorable and passable, considering that the earthworks which had already begun, and which had already begun, Honorable Speaker, and were left uncompleted, and particularly during the expected rainy season, which is expected to begin shortly, this road will become completely impassable, thereby inconveniencing many residents of Kino, Muthega, Gaitumbe, and Kariango areas, all the way to Kanyarere in Kabete constituency, and also sections of Kangemi at the bypass, the intersection at Kangemi and the bridge, which has been left incomplete. 4, the existence of dug-up trenches and holes by the contractor
particularly which is bound to immensely affect the road users and residents during the rainy season of April to August 2022, when the chairperson to indicate what first aid measures or what remedial measures the ministry or the contractor is taking to ensure that they do not put road users along the busy highway to risk. Honorable Speaker, maybe just to add, last week, a resident who was an aspirant on a UDA ticket in Nandi Hills constituency lost his life in Kangemi following a road accident, and it's because of the stalled works and diversions that have been put on the road. And I am told reliably, Honorable Speaker, that the contractor has stopped works along the formerly Northern Corridor, apparently because he's owed over 8.2 billion shillings on that contract alone. And he has now completely, from the beginning of March, he has completely stopped works along the highway. If you go to Kangemi, Honorable Speaker, today, they had started working on the bridge that connects Kangemi to Loresho, and it's been left incomplete. And of course, the sections that I've mentioned in my own constituency of collector roads that were left unattended as a contractor pulled out. Yet we had been promised that this contract will be completed in 3 years. With that, Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
The chair of Transport Committee is certainly not in the House, Honorable Kosing. So the request will be channeled through the office of the Leader of Majority. Maybe Leader of Majority, your statement.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44-2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, the 12th of April 2022, to prioritize business for consideration. Honorable Speaker, last week, as you are aware, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury and Planning did present the budget highlights and revenue-raising measures for the government for the financial year 2022-2023, and also submitted the annual estimates of revenue and expenditure for 2022 and 23, and the draft finance bill of 2022, which has since been published by the Finance Committee. Consideration of this business will require to be expedited upon our return from recess, and indeed processing during the recess. Honorable Speaker, I wish to underscore that as a House, we have very limited time, as you did explain in your communication, to prosecute this and any other important business. And even as I wish members a restful working recess and the very best in the various party nominations, I request that once this exercise is over, members actively participate in the committees to enable them expedite these two key business on the financial estimates and any other urgent business before them. Honorable Speaker, upon resumption of the House on Tuesday, the 10th of May, the following business has been scheduled for consideration, which is the first reading of the following bills: the County Allocation of Revenue Bill of 2022, which we hope will have been received from the Senate, the National Rating Bill of 2022, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2022, and the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 21 of 2022. We also consider a second reading of the following bills: the Mang Bills, Mang Beans Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2020, the Prompt Payment Bill, Senate Bill number 16 of 2021, and the Startup Bill, which is Senate Bill number 1 of 2021, in addition to all the others we will not have completed by today. Honorable Speaker, I'm reliably informed that there are no questions scheduled for responses by Cabinet Secretaries, and House Business Committee will therefore reconvene on Tuesday, the 10th of May 2022, to schedule business for the rest of the week. We obviously will be going on a short recess, and I want to also take this opportunity to wish members the very best during that recess, and also for those who profess the Christian faith, happy Easter, and for our Muslim brethren and sisters to continue with their fast, happy Eid when we get there. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Well, honourable members, at this point, I give the opportunity to I'll give this opportunity to the member for Wajir, the Honorable Fatuma Gedi, who, yeah? But she's just making a, you have a point of order? Which? Before the Honorable Fatuma gives a response, the Honorable who is, just see who comes before the other. The Honorable David Ochieng.
The Honorable Speaker, I'm happy that the Honorable Duale knows who I am. It's only you know I know who I am, but I'm sure soon he will know that I am a party leader. Mr. Speaker, I rise under Standing Order 83 to raise a point of order on fundamental matters, Mr. Speaker, relating to this House. Speaker, Article 127 of the Constitution establishes a PAC and is mandated to perform several functions, including functions necessary for the well-being of members of this House. Mr. Speaker, as I raise this point of order, I've never been to my office in Continental House because it has no windows. It has no ventilation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the functions of the PAC also find their home in the PAC Act that this House passed in 2019, Mr. Speaker. I however note, Mr. Speaker, that there's a very huge disconnect between the members that we chose as our PAC members and this House. Mr. Speaker, I've been in this House, this is now my 8th year. There's no single day where the members of the PAC that we elected have ever come to this House to report to us what they do for us, how they do it. Mr. Speaker, I was hoping when I lost the elections and came back, I was hoping that I will have an office in this new building, Mr. Speaker. No report to us about what's happening there. We just see contractors coming and going. We hear tender wars, but we don't know when they'll finish, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the Commission, though independent, exists because of the two houses, and hence it should be guided by Article 127 of the Constitution in its operation, Mr. Speaker. The reason I say this, Mr. Speaker, is because there are a number of matters which my colleagues in this House will agree with me that, in our view, are not headed the right direction, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the 1st of March 2013, just 2 days to elections, the SRC issued a circular about terms of members of parliament on the 11th parliament. 2 days. 1st of March 2013, we were being elected on 4th of March of 2013, Mr. Speaker. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, we are aware that the Commission, the PAC we elected, is negotiating with the SRC on terms of service, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Speaker, include raising the Commissioners' allowances, raising what they earn and how they're going to be in the next parliament, Mr. Speaker, and at the same time negotiating how to reduce our allowance, Mr. Speaker. I'm aware and confidently aware that they are negotiating to remove the sitting allowances of members of parliament in the next parliament. They're negotiating to remove and reduce the allowances that we earn when we travel abroad, Mr. Speaker, and nobody in this House knows. No commissioner has taken his time to come and tell us what they are doing for the last 2 terms, Mr. Speaker. That's what the law requires, Mr. Speaker. We agreed under the new law that we set up that the Commission will be holding with us by annual sessions with each member of the House. To date, Mr. Speaker, none has ever happened. None. Members have been here sometimes, some of them 9 years. The commissioners we elected have never given us a report, Mr. Speaker, and that's why I rise to him, Mr. Speaker, to ask, when shall we hear from commissioners we elected to go to the Commission? When will they tell us what they are doing for us, Mr. Speaker, so that we know that they're there because of our... Mr. Speaker, no one knows tomorrow. You could be the president, because I know you're running for president. You could be deputy president. You could be speaker again. Your legacy cannot be, Mr. Speaker, that when you come back, you are trying to recalibrate and say, we lost this in the last parliament, can we get it back, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, as we speak, I'm aware that, and members are aware, that we are trying to get a new clerk, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, part of why I rise today is that I've had so many members of staff approaching me, asking, David, what do we do? There's a person who applied for a job and who is claiming that he has bought all the commissioners, Mr. Speaker, including you as the chairman of the PAC. He says he has compromised everybody. He'll be clerk by hook or crook, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we need a company to discuss some of these issues that we know. Mr. Speaker, where is this parliament going? We are the custodians for the guys coming in the next parliament. We cannot give them a skunk. We can't give them a hollow house. We must guide this process, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I rise today, I want to state clearly, Mr. Speaker, that you as the chairman of the commission must be in charge. And we request that when we come back after the party primaries, we, Mr. Speaker, must have a kamkunji, where commissioners, including yourself as chair, will brief us. What have you done for us as members for the last 5 years? Yes, we ask for the next term. What are members that are coming in getting? What have you negotiated with the SRC for the last 3-4 years? What are benefits going to the commissioners? Which benefits are coming to the members of parliament, Mr. Speaker? So that we know that when we come in, we will not have a case where members are paid allowances. Along the way, the court gives an order that money must be recovered from members because the commission didn't negotiate well, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, my request under that standing order is that before we resume the next session, the next sitting, Mr. Speaker, you order Kamkunji. Come with the commissioners. Let's get a report that you've not gotten for the last 3-4 years. Members go home knowing that they did a good job and that commissioners failed. Mr. Speaker, I raise my case and request your guidance on the issue. Thank you.
Well, you know, the Honorable Chiang rose on a point of order. Now he has raised quite some weighty matters. But, in fact, if members want to, you want to address the same issues? Yes. Different? Yes, the same issue. Same? But please take 1 minute, 2 minutes max, so that we can go to, you know, we had agreed yesterday that today there's a huge bill. There's a huge bill which is the children's bill. Honorable Ishongwa, what is your point of order now?
Honorable Speaker, thank you. And I just wish to rise to just support what the Honorable David Ochieng is raising. And it is indeed true that the commissioners we have elected, especially those who sit in the National Assembly, must act in the best interest of members of parliament, specifically those that sit here in the National Assembly. Honorable Speaker, it is indeed true that the office block, we have waited for 2 terms of parliament. Since I joined this house in 2013, that office block was under construction. When I chaired the Budget and Appropriations Committee, Honorable Speaker, every year the commissioners appeared before the Budget Committee and promised by next year, August, the building will be complete. And you can hear Honorable Chieng purport that he has never used his windowless and ventilationless office. Honorable Speaker, he has also touched on the issue of our staff, the staff that work. And Honorable Speaker, if you look in front of you, you have 3 very good ladies who are working as clerks. On this desk, Honorable Speaker, I see Madam Sarah Kioko, who I know most likely by the time I joined Parliament, she had worked in this house maybe for another 15 years before then. It is worrying, Honorable Speaker, that unlike in other jurisdictions like in the US or in the UK, where staff from a certain level, maybe the level of directors or deputy directors, you cannot move from one house. You cannot move, for instance, in the US from the Congress, if you are a director in Congress, to go and work in the US Senate, because there is a way each house operates. Even in the UK, Honorable Speaker, you cannot move from the House of Lords from a certain level to the House of Commons, because the House of Lords has its own way and its own mechanisms on how it works. And it is those 2 jurisdictions that this parliament has heavily borrowed on. And the last 10 years, Honorable Speaker, with officers working in the Senate and others working in the National Assembly, you cannot be telling an officer like Madam Sarah Kioko here that having worked and with her experience of over 25 years in the National Assembly, she stands no opportunity to ever rise to become the clerk of the National Assembly, because at her level, someone will move maybe from Senate and come and work in the National Assembly, or a staffer in the Senate, maybe like Sarah Kioko, will go and displace someone who has worked in the Senate for so many years and is accustomed to the workings of the Senate. Honorable Speaker, then we may as well tell our staff that they have no opportunity of growth within the institutions they work in. And we may as well, Honorable Speaker, open up positions that we advertise here at senior level like that of the clerk to even chiefs, DOs, and DCs out there. we can as well get an established administrator to come and become the clerk of the National Assembly. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, there are issues that we must address. The issues of mileage, Honorable Speaker. Members of Parliament, and I think the Honorable T.J. Kajwang yesterday or the day before raised that issue. It is a matter that we have tried to address as members of Parliament who come from Nairobi and the environs for 2 terms and even before that, Honorable Speaker. But because some of the commissioners who have become so dynastic in the commission benefit personally, Honorable Speaker, from the terms that they get under the mileage terms of Parliament, they have no consideration for members of Parliament who elect them to go and represent them in the commission, Honorable Speaker. It is shocking what Honorable David Ochieng is saying. And it is indeed true that those of us who will be lucky to come to the 13th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, after the elections, you will be shocked because of the kind of things that we may probably find here unless we start holding these commissioners accountable for the work we gave them, Honorable Speaker. And I want to really support the request by the Honorable David Ochieng that before things get out of hand, let us have a Kamukunji immediately. We resume business so that we are able to put these commissioners under your chairmanship, Honorable Speaker, to be able to be accountable to the people who elected them. And Honorable Speaker, as David Ochieng rightly says, it is a constitutional commission like any other that should be reporting to this House what they are doing in terms of their mandate.
Honorable Junaid Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to put my word also on this debate, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've listened very carefully to what Honorable Ochieng has raised. Mr. Speaker, some of the issues he has raised are valid issues that we need to address as a House because they affect the well-being of the members of this House, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, when I listened also to Honorable Ishungwa, I came to realize that the matter is bigger than, you know, Somalis are saying that the voice is bigger than what you think. Mr. Speaker, I can see there are people who are trying to canvass for certain jobs that have been advertised, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we cannot anticipate debate. We have to wait for the Commission to present their report to the House. Is when we can give our view on it, Mr. Speaker. And for example, if it is about the work of the job of the clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, there are procedures that are followed for people to apply for that job, Mr. Speaker. And it's advertised both internally and externally. So I don't think, Mr. Speaker, it is good or it is proper for us to anticipate debate. And anybody has the right to apply. If the Commission has not yet decided on the issue, let us give the Commission time to make their decision, then we will have our say here as a House, Mr. Speaker. But if we jump the gun now and start debating an issue that has not been presented before us as a House, and it has to go to the Speaker, approve it, and being brought here as a motion, Mr. Speaker. The motion is not before us as we speak now, Mr. Speaker. But other issues that has been raised, Mr. Speaker, by Honorable Ochieng, I totally agree with him. We need to have a... But you see, this case, Mr. Speaker, reminds me of something. These are issues, Mr. Speaker, that we have raised long time ago. And they were never looked at properly, because that time people were looking at things in a partisan manner, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it reminds me of a friend of mine who we go to a restaurant and we eat good food with him. But when the last leg of the chicken is remaining is when he remembers his driver. He says, oh, I forgot my driver outside here. The Parliament time is almost coming to an end. Let us just put our house in order now for the future. Mr. Speaker, we even raised a notorious commission member. Notorious, who is a member of ODM, Mr. Speaker, whom we said has no competence in that commission. And when we wanted to remove her, we were told you cannot remove her. There's a procedure to follow in removing the commissioner, Mr. Speaker. And she ended up joining UDA, Mr. Speaker. And she left us. Such people should have been dealt with a long time ago, Mr. Speaker. The commission will have done a perfect job if we had dealt with those issues at that time, Mr. Speaker. A notorious commissioner, she's known, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, and she has just left us, joined another party, which was registered 1 month ago, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. I want to say this in conclusion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know you are just the chair of the commission. And this is not a matter that we should take time to debate, Mr. Speaker. This is a very straightforward case. The issues that have been raised by Honorable Ochieng can be addressed administratively. Your office can deal with them administratively, Mr. Speaker, as the chair of the commission. But the other issue of who is going to get a job, Mr. Speaker, that should be left to the commission. If people have interest in certain individuals, Mr. Speaker, you cannot use the floor of the House to do canvassing, Mr. Speaker. Canvassing can lead to disqualification for the candidate you are canvassing for. Madam Sarah Kioko knows that she's too senior and she's qualified for the job. If she was interested for the job, she will apply for it. You don't need to prompt her to tell her, oh, why didn't you apply for the job?
Now, honour members. Honour members, I think the Honourable David Ochieng raised some a serious matter, and some of those matters are clearly provided for in both Articles 127 and 128, and then others are the procedure for removal of commissioners. You know, you have to go to Article 251. So I think that if we restrict ourselves to what the Honourable David Ochieng raised, no, so that we don't, is it the desire of the members that we have a Kamukunji before the 10th? No, let me, so that, and if we have to do it, because the 10th is a Tuesday, then we would have to do it on a Monday. Will you be available? Yes. Monday 9th? Yes. What's the best time for those who come from far away in the villages? No, 10th is the Tuesday. Can we say Monday 9th at 2? Honour members, please inform those others here in this chamber, inform those other members who are not present, and because I know there's some page that you use. Where is the Honourable Atandi? Is the administrator? But I saw somewhere he's celebrating, but he should have come. We congratulate him here in the House. So, honour members, so it is that there will be a Kamukunji on May the 9th, Monday, May 9th at 2 p.m. in this chamber. Please, let's all purpose to attend so that a number of the issues that the Honourable David Ochieng has raised can be canvassed, and also for the Commission to brief, and if it's not able to brief, for you to take appropriate action. No, there's not debate now that, because it would be better if we can debate it then, because this is a sitting of the National Assembly. The Kamukunji will not be a sitting of the National Assembly. No, let's not go back to this one, Honourable Okello. No. I think let's remove the names of our staff. Let's remove the names of our staff. Yes, let's remove the names of our staff. I think it's not right. No, he has not said anything that is untoward. No, let's not. No, let's not go there. It was a point of order. I will not allow debate on that. I will not allow debate on that. Please, let's go. Honourable Otiende Amolo, you had a point of order also?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a few days ago, the Honourable Fatuma Gedi made statements that were deemed offensive to Standing Order number 91-1 and was asked to substantiate. And this afternoon, I have seen her carrying a big bag that suggests that she's ready to substantiate. But, Mr. Speaker, before she does, I think there are some issues of principle that you need to guide us on, because we are on uncharted waters. Mr. Speaker, I raise under Standing Order number 1, 90 and 91 as read together with Article 51 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the words that the Honorable Fatuma Gedi is now required to substantiate, and I have no doubt that she must rise to the occasion, were words to the effect that the Honorable His Excellency the Deputy President is a land grabber and that we are not safe in his hands. Now, Mr. Speaker, in that context, the standing orders require you, under Standing Order number 91, to listen keenly to what she says and to be convinced that she has substantiated, failing which you must then take her to Standing Order number 107. Mr. Speaker, what then you are required to be persuaded on is a matter of fact on the allegations in respect of the Deputy President. Mr. Speaker, when then you are required to make that decision, you sit in a quasi-judicial capacity. Indeed, in accordance with Article 51, you are a tribunal, and you must be impartial, and you must be independent on those questions of fact. Is it true that the Deputy President is a land grabber? Fact, which has to be demonstrated. Is it true that we are not safe in his hands? Fact, which has to be demonstrated. Mr. Speaker, it then puts us in difficulty because the Constitution describes the members of the National Assembly, the 349, and then says, and the Speaker, who shall be ex officio. But it doesn't help, because when you go to the definition, it says a member of Parliament is a member of Parliament. So is the Speaker, for these purposes, a member of Parliament who must disclose conflict of interest under Article 91 or not? Mr. Speaker, that question of fact, I think, will put you in difficulty, because we take judicial notice, Mr. Speaker, that you have found it fit to take sides with the Deputy President, which means, by definition, in terms of whether we are safe in his hands, your answer has been yes. It therefore makes it difficult for you to come to a conclusion of fact in respect of that question by this member. Mr. Speaker, I want to save you the difficulty of having to be a judge in your own cause, because that then will be a question of fact. And Mr. Speaker, the Speaker then, having decided that the matter must be substantiated, I would suggest, Mr. Speaker, that the person to make that decision should not be yourself, because that goes against the most basic tenet of fair trial, which is in our Constitution. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. And those issues are serious, Mr. Speaker. They are so serious that if the Honorable Fatuma Gedi is able to substantiate, they can even take us to the provisions of Article 94. And in those provisions, sub-Article 5, the question of removal of the Deputy Speaker for breach of the Constitution is to be initiated in this House. The Deputy President, sorry. If the substantiation was so clear that we said we don't just want to stop there, we actually want to initiate the removal, then what will the Speaker do? It puts you in great difficulty. And there's one more, Mr. Speaker. The provisions of Article 90 on conflict of interest, we are all required to disclose conflict of interest. And conflict of interest is described to include personal relationship. We know that you have a personal relationship now with the Deputy President. Is the Speaker required to disclose that as a member? Well, I will use the words of the standing order, personal, and it can extend to political. Mr. Speaker, it includes, for both now and for future, where a Speaker has chosen to take side, because it's unprecedented. We know we all have political affiliations, but like a judge, it's assumed that once you occupy that office, then those affiliations do not come to the fore. But when they come to the fore for futuristic purposes, rather than historical, then it means there's an issue of conflict. How does the substantive Speaker handle this? Mr. Speaker, I'd like you to give guidance, because I know you can remove yourself from that situation of conflict temporarily. and give clear guidance for present and for future on this very unprecedented situation. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
No, honourable members, these are not very difficult issues. I don't need assistance on this. Fortunately, I want to begin from, so that I'll respond to all those ones. Now, honourable members, this is the answer. You know, it's good so that Honourable Fatuma knows. She's saying she's going to substantiate, and the reason why she was not challenged to withdraw on the spot is because the matter is grave. Yeah. Otherwise, the standing order that you read would have demanded that she withdraws on the moment, because the substantiation should be instantaneous for those that have been here or that have cared to follow the standing orders properly. But I've taken, this is the answer of 2 days ago. The Honorable Fatuma Gedi is recorded as having said, Honorable Speaker, give me 2 days, and I will bring details on how William Ruto has grabbed land in this country. This is what the answer shows. The Speaker said, very well, Honorable Fatuma, you are the one who has undertaken to provide evidence. Do not listen to those giving you stories, because several members were trying to interject and tell her some other things. But to what I am saying, ordinarily, we do not allow people to say they will provide evidence after 2 days. When you say something here, you are expected to have materials, but given the gravity of what you have said, I will allow you, therefore, Thursday, 14th April 2022 at 2:30 p.m., we expect Honorable Fatuma Gedi to substantiate. It's only fair that we allow her time to provide the material she has alluded to. And some honourable members are shown to have said all parcels of land that she has mentioned, and the Speaker says, Honorable Fatuma, you say that you will provide evidence. You talked about Taita Taveta, Laikipia, and even Wajir. Can you go on record? And Honorable Fatuma, and she said, and we said, I told members not to put words into her mouth. Honorable Fatuma Gedi is shown to have said, Honorable Speaker, I'll provide on the following, Langata Primary, Taita Taveta, Laikipia, and Muteshi. And the record shows that I asked, what is Muteshi? The Honorable Fatuma, she says, Honorable Speaker, it is a 100-acre piece of land. That is what Muteshi is. Loud consultations followed. Then I asked where. The Honorable Fatuma says, Muteshi. The Speaker goes on to say, there is no place called Muteshi in Kenya. Honorable members, the Honorable Fatuma is serious about what she is saying. It's only fair that it is only that I do not know. I know the geography of this country, but I do not know of any part called Muteshi. And Honorable Fatuma said, let me clarify. And I told her, yes, please proceed. He says, Honorable Speaker, you already ruled that on Thursday I should bring evidence. Muteshi is land which belonged to the late Muteshi and is in Trans Nzoia. And I asked, in Trans Nzoia, the Honorable Fatuma says, yes. I say, very well. Honorable Fatuma is shown, Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, I'll bring the details on Thursday at 2:30 p.m. And I'm on record saying, thank you. And we agree that the Honorable Fatuma is doing that. And he didn't approach me and saying that she is going to do that. So that is clear from that point. Honourable members, not in anticipation, but as you know, I always have to go back to records and see how we have treated situations of this nature. An incident happened on the 27th of April in 1993. And it followed on something which had been there on 22nd. 22nd of April 1993, during the second reading of the Veterinary Surgeons Amendment Bill, the member for Kisumu Rural, the Honorable Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, rose on a point of order with the intention to adjourn debate on the bill for the House to discuss a matter of a claim that the Central Bank of Kenya was being robbed about 25 billion a week. He proceeded to table certain documents in support of the claim, albeit without the Speaker's consent. And therefore, on 27th of April, 1993, Speaker Kaparo observed that the member did not explain what the papers were about or the origins of the papers, and there are no signatures. The Speaker then ruled that the papers purportedly laid on the table of the House by the Honorable Anyang' Nyong'o could not be admitted into the records of the House for the reason that the member did not follow the procedure for laying papers as exemplified, as explained. He clarified that though restrictive, the guidance was meant to ensure that papers laid on the table are legitimate. On 10th of September 2009, that's the 10th Parliament, the then Minister for Justice, National Cohesion and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Martha Karua, tabled some documents relating to corruption allegations. After scrutinizing the documents, the Speaker Marende ascertained that the documents were not signed, and on the 10th of September 2009, Speaker ruled that the documents were inadmissible and would not be allowed to go on the records of the House. Then on the 18th of January 2011, the then member for Juja, the Honorable William Kabogo, tabled 3 documents. One, a letter dated 20th of December 2010 from the same member addressed to the Minister of State for Provincial Administration and Internal Security and Acting Minister for Foreign Affairs, the late Professor George Saitoti. B, a document titled, in brackets, classified information in the United States. And C, a document which the honorable member described as dossier, containing the names of honorable members said to be involved in drug trafficking. The Speaker undertook to acquaint himself with the documents in order to establish their authenticity or otherwise and determine their admissibility. Among the considerations that the Speaker relied on included the requirement for signatures on the documents and some form of certification where a document other than the original has been tabled. Speaker Marende made the following directions on the 18th of January. A, with respect to the letter from the member for Juja, Speaker observed that the letter had been done on the member's letterhead. It bore the member's signature and was stamped as having been received by the Minister of State, Office of the President, on 20th of December 2009. With that, the Speaker ruled that the letter was admissible. B, with respect to the document titled Classified Information in the United States, the Speaker observed that the document appeared to have been downloaded from Wikipedia website, a free online encyclopedia that contains articles not necessarily owned by anyone, and which allows any person to edit anonymously and post it as articles. The Speaker then ruled that the document was inadmissible on account that it was sourced from an unknown publisher. The source permits anonymous alteration of contents, and the article freely in the public domain was free in the public domain. And C, on the so-called dossier, Speaker ruled that the paper was inadmissible because he noted that the document, 1, was not dated, 2, had no indication of the author or whom it was addressed to, 3, bore a stamp appearing to be for Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, KECC, without indicating the date when the stamp was imprinted on and by who. 4, had no signature or any other form of identification of the source or ownership. The Speaker further ordered that the 2 documents be expunged from the records of the House and that all reference made thereto, the names of the honorable members in the context of the document, be expunged from the records of the House. The 4th example, and I'm doing this out of abundance of caution, because I'll deal with the smaller issue. The one which was raised by the Honorable Tiende is fairly small. I'll just demonstrate. The fourth incident was, it's titled Kazi kwa Vijana, KKV program, 1st of November 2011. On the 26th of October 2011, the then Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Local Government, while issuing a statement during Prime Minister's time on the implementation of Kazi kwa Vijana KKV program, tabled several documents which the Speaker undertook to examine before determining their admissibility or otherwise. On the 1st of November 2011, the Speaker admitted 2 of the documents, but ruled that one on the Kenya Portfolio Financial Management Supervision, June 2011, interim and unvalidated reports, in-depth review of the 13th of September 2011, which was imprinted strictly confidential. They cited the following reasons for their inadmissibility. 1, it was not signed. 2, does not have a forwarding letter or detail of the author. 3, efforts to access it on World Bank website for validation were futile. And after scrutinizing the documents, Speaker Marende then ascertained that the documents were not signed, and on 10th of September 2009, Speaker ruled that the documents were inadmissible and would not be allowed to go on the records of the House. Honourable members, there are several other examples that follow with regard to drug trafficking, many of them which have come to form the history. The summary of all this is as follows. By established practice and procedure of the House, in considering admissibility, or authenticity or otherwise of a document tabled in the House, the Speaker examines if the following. If the document, 1, relates to the matter for which it has been tabled, 2, is signed, and if it's a government document by the authorized person or persons, 3, bears the emblem or logo of the institution. You know, it is important that I hope the member is listening, because this is a test by established practice. It is important that this is a test to be applied. 1, if the document relates to the matter for which it has been tabled. 2, is signed, and if it's a government document by the authorized person or persons. 3, bears the emblem or logo of the institution / person from which it originated, or coat of arms in the case of a document from the government agencies. 4, whether the document clearly indicates the author and the person to whom it is addressed. 5, whether the document discloses the origin / source of it. 6, whether it bears certification where a document other than the original is being tabled. 7, if electronic, whether it has been obtained from a source that does not permit alteration of contents, in brackets, rule of admissibility of electronic documents, electronic evidence. And 8, if it relates to a claim made before the House or a committee, its content as a nexus with a claim. And finally, whether it is stamped and clearly indicates the person signing off the stamp. That is, insofar as the technical part is concerned. That is the checklist. Now, the Honorable Otiende Amolo has raised the issue of, and I think it is good that I can see a few other members present so that I can explain this point. I don't know of any speaker since independence who was ever elected as an independent in this House. All speakers, including myself, have been sponsored by political parties. And they have gone on to preside over the proceedings and affairs of the House, regardless of the sponsoring party. I may give a comparison. I start with our neighbors in Uganda. The Speaker of Uganda is an elected member of parliament and continues to serve as a member of the constituency to which they were elected, even as they continue to serve as speakers. 2, Tanzania. The Speaker of Tanzania is an elected member of parliament representing a constituency and continues to serve. In fact, it's an truism that in Tanzania, they almost invariably come from the CCM. They continue to serve as members of the constituencies in which they were elected, notwithstanding that those countries are multi-party democratic states. In the United Kingdom, the speakers are elected members of parliament representing constituencies, but they continue to serve those constituencies even as they continue to preside over the House of Parliament. Now that we adopted the presidential system, in the United States of America, the Speaker is a member of Parliament, of the House of Representatives. And if you want to jog, I may just jog your memories. During the time of President Bill Clinton, the Speaker was none other than Newt Gingrich. And many of you, if you care to read, you know the relationship between President Bill Clinton and Speaker Newt Gingrich, who was a Republican, while Bill Clinton was Democrat. During the time of President Obama, one of his terms, the Speaker, Republican from Wisconsin, Speaker Paul Ryan, who was a Republican. Many of you would recall that the issues that happened when President Obama brought the Affordable Health Care Bill before Congress. Now, honorable members, just the other day, I need, do I have to say, to remind you, President Trump, Republican, was serving when Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat, was a speaker. And I'm sure you all know this. At least this does not happen in Kenya. That relationship, the relationship that we have seen with those speakers, does not, we know it has not happened here in Kenya. I think as a country, we should feel proud that we do not exhibit that level of partisanship that we have seen in that very, very, very well-developed democracy as the United States. Now, as to whether I have joined what formation, it's a political formation. On the 31st, listen to this, on the 31st of August 2017, I had offered myself to run for the Speaker of the National Assembly under the sponsorship of the Jubilee Party. You honorable members are the ones who gave me the mandate. You are the ones who gave me the mandate. I did not hear you say that I need to disclose the relationship, whether personal, official, or political, I had with the leadership of the Jubilee Party. I think, honorable members, I appreciate that we are in very exciting times, but I think at this late hour in the day, you cannot challenge my impartiality. This is not a difficult matter. This is not a difficult matter. And I want to guide that the issue that Honorable Fatuma Gedi has raised, surely is not even a matter that, what impartiality, for what purpose? I mean, what partiality? All that we need to do, the documents Honorable Fatuma Gedi is going to table will be available for every member to look at. It therefore would be a travesty of justice on such monumental scales that I do not know that indeed all of you will see that they are authentic and the Speaker rules they are not authentic. Speaker Muturi does not belong to that school. What is authentic will be authentic before your eyes as it will before mine. So honourable members, I want to tell you to relax. Just relax. I don't think for me, this is very simple indeed. I mean, honourable members always table documents here, and we look at them, we say, surely, this is not admissible. If you get it from Wikipedia, like we've had in the case which was dealt with by the Honourable Speaker Marende. So, honourable members, this is really nothing. And even those who are saying, do this, do the other, honourable members, relax. Relax. Kenya is a multi-party democratic state. That is most important for all of us to appreciate. And therefore, when we come to this chamber, there is always the majority side and there's a minority side. In the previous dispensation, there was the government side and there was the opposition side. I have served on both sides, fortunately. So I've served on both sides of the divide. I don't think whether there is anything that can actually define this House that is before us this afternoon. Merely the mention of the Deputy President, I'm sure. I mean, even if it was a mention of whomever, all we need to do is follow our own rules. And there is no conflict, there is no interest. I have no interest. I have no interest in what is being tabled by the Honourable Fatuma. I do not know, save for what I have read she said she's going to table. So, honourable members, there is nothing there that we should worry about. I will continue to serve you for as long as you desire. Remember, you are my constituency. You are my constituents. So any of you is at liberty in the event that just like you are going to face on 9th of August. If any of you feels that this representative is not serving you to your satisfaction, you are at liberty to express yourself in the manner provided for both in Article 106 and in our standing orders. So, for honourable members, let's just relax. The Honourable Fatuma actually has approached me to allow her to bring some documents, and I have told her very well, please bring, because all of you need to see them. So, honourable members, just relax. There's nothing to worry about. This is a simple matter that we do every day. Very well. No, Honourable Junet, you know.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the guidance you have given us. We stand guided, Mr. Speaker. Having said, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Speaker, as the whip of the minority, Mr. Speaker, and we have in this House, we have no one else to address other than the Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and that's the rule. Mr. Speaker, the issue you have just raised is a very weighty matter, Mr. Speaker, with the minority side. Mr. Speaker, you have put facts very clear, and we agree with you, that it is true speakers are sponsored by parties, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I remember in 2013, we sponsored Marende as the minority, and we were defeated in this House by Jubilee, Mr. Speaker. That time it was Jubilee coalition. But Mr. Speaker, also, recently, new development happened, Mr. Speaker. And you know, we are in the season of politics. Everyone has a constitutional right to join any political formation he wants. Mr. Speaker, in the last election, you were also sponsored by Jubilee Party. But Mr. Speaker, the records that are now available politically at the registrar of political parties is that you are the party leader of the Democratic Party, Mr. Speaker. And now that is not Jubilee that sponsored you, Mr. Speaker. And you have formed a coalition with Kenya Kwanza, Mr. Speaker, which is another formation outside Jubilee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have never doubted your impartiality. That I can say it on record. We have never so far, until when we saw in a hotel in Karen, Mr. Speaker, signatures and ceremony happening, you signing as the party leader of Democratic Party, Mr. Speaker, we started now feeling that surely we might not get a fair treatment in the House, Mr. Speaker. There might be no impartiality, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are a man who has so much fidelity to the Constitution. I can say that also without fear, because I have served under you or with you in this House for 10 years now, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, issues that are raised here in this House, Mr. Speaker, are issues that anywhere, you cannot raise it anywhere else, Mr. Speaker. We cannot speak in burials, in funerals, in rallies, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issues raised by Honorable Otiende Omolo, Mr. Speaker, as you have captured them well, Mr. Speaker, are issues that are going to affect us for the remaining period of this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if now you are the leader of the Democratic Party and a member of the Kenya Kwanza coalition, Mr. Speaker, and you are sponsored by Jubilee Party as the Speaker, Mr. Speaker, how are you going to balance those interests, Mr. Speaker? Because the people who are supporting you now and cheering you here, Mr. Speaker, are not even people of Jubilee, Mr. Speaker. These are UDA members, Mr. Speaker. These are Kenya Kwanza members, Mr. Speaker. These are the ones who are cheering you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know for what reason. Do they think that you are a speaker for now Kenya Kwanza? I don't know why Duale is so happy to when you are talking, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is in my view, Mr. Speaker, I have said, Mr. Speaker, and I am very happy that you've given us time to express and ventilate what we think, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we want to continue the House being handled the way it has been handled for the last 9 years under your leadership, Mr. Speaker. We are only worried that going forward now, Mr. Speaker, now that the political dynamics have changed, Honorable Fatuma Geti has raised weighty issues, as Honorable Otiende has said, that can lead even to the impeachment of the Deputy President, Mr. Speaker, if they are proved the allegations to be true, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, how do we feel? Are we safe in this House, Mr. Speaker, that we can continue conducting our business under, I am told, rumor has it that, Mr. Speaker, you're even being proposed to be the running mate of the Deputy President, Mr. Speaker. Rumor has it, Mr. Speaker. Rumor has it, Mr. Speaker. We support all that, Mr. Speaker. We have no problem with that, Mr. Speaker, honestly speaking. But, Mr. Speaker, this House must be impartial. This House must be conducted, and you are the custodian of the standing orders, Mr. Speaker. It is you who applies the standing orders in this House against us, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether the rule of impartiality and fair, natural justice, fairness will be accorded to us as the minority, Mr. Speaker, of this House, and whether Honorable Fatuma Gedi will get fair treatment and judgment on the issues that he has raised, Mr. Speaker. Those are the issues, Mr. Speaker, that is worrying us, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You know, now, on our members, you know, that kind of behavior now, surely, you know, when you start yelling like that, because that's surely, somebody is yelling. How is it that we are going to, you see, impartiality is not determined by which party you belong to. It must be new. You must be able to demonstrate it. And I don't know what it is that shows that it has not been demonstrated. Now, one of members, you know, I don't want us to, you know, the Honorable Fatuma Gedi was going to, no, please. Yeah, but you know, 2 minutes each, 2 minutes each. But honourable members, before I allow you, honourable members, those of you who feel that they are, you know, if you feel that the speaker is not sufficiently impartial, please, because the speaker who is before you is unwilling to resign. Take it now, yes, we can take the bank. Please, Look at the provisions of Article 106 of the Constitution. Yes. So don't. I mean, there's no need. I mean, it's not the first time that I have been sponsored. Even in 2013, I was sponsored by a party. We have worked with so many of you in very many, I don't know, in many endeavors. So let's not get carried away by the things happening around the country. Honorable Duale.
Mr. Speaker, let me add my voice to what is going on this afternoon. And Mr. Speaker, within the reading of Article 106 of the Constitution on speakers and deputy speakers of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, you have not committed any crime by being a member of the Kenya Kwanza coalition, by being member of the party leader of the Democratic Party of Kenya. Your removal is well stipulated, Mr. Speaker, in Article 106, Subarticle 2, A, B, C, and D. And all these allegations, Mr. Speaker, are not there, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, the procedure for the removal of a speaker is known to every member. And Mr. Speaker, let me be very clear that even in other jurisdictions, like the US, and more importantly, the most important house in the US, the Senate, the Speaker of the Senate,
Are you the Speaker?
the Speaker, they don't want to listen to. The Speaker of the US Senate is always the Deputy President or the Vice President. And when he or she sits there currently, because it's a woman, she sits there to make a neutral determination. Mr. Speaker, secondly and more fundamentally, I want to confirm to you that there is no minority in this House. The minority has gone to bed. I haven't finished. You don't need to. It's a speaker.
You know?
You interrupt, then you start complaining.
The Speaker, since February 2019, and the people of Kenya can attest to, 2018, there's no minority. The minority went to bed with some remnants of Jubilee, small group of about 25 or so. So, Mr. Speaker, you cannot speak from both sides. You cannot be, Honorable Junet cannot be in government, and when it is convenient for him, he says he wants fairness. It's fairness. The Speaker, you know, I respect elders.
Now. Very well. Now, Honorable Angwenyi. That is, why are you getting agitated? I want to give one chance to Honorable Charles Kilonzo. Then the rest we proceed with the business. Honorable Millie, before the Honorable Charles Kilonzo speaks, just a minute. Sergeant at Arms, can you open the suitcase to confirm that whatever is in there? No, just a minute. This is we administer the standing orders as you have put past them. A briefcase cannot just be brought into the chamber here. It needs to be confirmed. What are you telling me? Well, even when we admit, well, no, let the sergeant, that's the sergeant at arms to check, please. No, Honorable Charles Kilonzo, you will? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, if I have your ears, Mr. Speaker, as we always say, this is a house of rules, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
And I want to invite you, Mr.
Don't shout. We are saying yes, what? But what decorum did you display now? What are you? You are a member of parliament. Honorable Angwenyi. Honorable Angwenyi. You see, Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi. No. You know, you honorable members, you are the ones who are getting agitated for nothing. Then the honorable only one member can speak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Can we allow the Honorable Charles Kilonzo to speak?
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ken Chonga, don't get agitated. Let him speak. Let him speak.
No, sit.
Honorable
Mr. Speaker.
No. Now.
Can you sit down? Sit down. You obstruct. You are blocking me.
Honorable Gogo. Honorable Gogo, let the member for Yatta make his point.
Mr. Speaker, this is a house of rules.
He's on a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, this is a house of rules guided by the standing orders, Mr. Speaker. And I want to invite all of us, Mr. Speaker, to standing order number 87. Mr. Speaker, if you look at standing order number 87, what we are about to do by tabling those documents is against our own rules. And Mr. Speaker, it is very important, whatever side of political divide you are, we stick to the rules in as much as what you are doing is likely to favor your side. What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, being even a staunch believer in Azimio, what we are doing here is against our own standing rules. And standing order number 87, Mr. Speaker, is very clear. It says, Mr. Speaker, neither the personal conduct of the president, nor the conduct of the speaker or the judge, it goes on, or even a government, a state officer or representative and so on, whose removal from the office depends on the decision of this House, Mr. Speaker, cannot be mentioned adversely, Mr. Speaker. That is stated very clear. So what we are doing here, Mr. Speaker, tomorrow the other side will come up with their own documents and allege the president has done the following. So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is by allowing the particular member to table those documents, we are already floating our standing orders, Mr. Speaker. It requires a motion and a 3 days notice. There is no motion before the House, even to table the documents, Mr. Speaker. I invite you to look at standing order number 87.
No, honor members, it's not about, no, honor members now. You know, what we are doing is actually dilatory, because the member made an allegation on the floor of the House. And when she was challenged, she said she was going to substantiate. That's what she's doing. Now we are, by introducing all these dilatory motions, you are preventing her from discharging the obligation that she undertook to discharge today. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Now the member is Let her speak. She's on a point. No, she's on a point of order. Now I'm not allowed. She is the one who is going to. She is on a point of order, Honorable Wanga. You know, you don't want her to. Now you see this. You can see now everybody appears to be on their own. Yes?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, preliminarily, Honorable Speaker, I would like to request you that as Honorable Gedi rises to table this very, very important documents, because today is a historic day, because we will see where somebody got a nickname from.
Please, no, now, Honorable Wanga. Honorable, what is your point of order?
Order.
Now,
yeah, Honorable Speaker, my point of order is that there is a habit that when this kind of important motion is going on, a lot of interruptions will come up from people who feel, rather than letting Honorable Gedi finish her statement, they want to interrupt her as a strategy for not letting this matter go to the public. So, Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to request for your protection
she will
so
be,
that
she
she does
protected.
it and finishes it.
The Honorable Fatuma Gedi is protected.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'd like to make a statement in response to my assertions during the afternoon sitting of Tuesday, April 11th, 2022, accordance with the Standing Order 91 and the Speaker ruling. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to bring to the light matter that needs careful consideration this House and the wonderful Kenyan voters who will have sacred mandate to elect
Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi.
The leaders.
Let me just help you. You know, there's no speech. No speech. It is just to bring the documents here.
No.
Please.
Mr. Speaker,
Please.
I beg, Mr. Speaker, I'm laying the background.
I'm the one on the chair. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Just, you know, it's the documents. There, you say, there's Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, this matter is very, very critical, and I must put the name. I will not share the document, and I have to substantiate and table the evidence, Mr. Speaker.
You know, Honorable Fatuma.
If you allow me, Mr. Speaker.
Fatuma, you know the thing is this. And you know it. I hope nobody is going to, because everybody seems to have completely forgotten their rules. You bring a document, we look at it, we tell you, yes, I have already read to you what has been. Honorable Maura, you are not going to teach, you are not teaching me what happens here. Honorable Fatuma Gedi, you know, you are going, what you can say is this, because I send this, explain, then table this. You go to the other one, you table. Proceed that way.
Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, that's what I'm doing. I have to explain what I'm tabling. I have to explain and table. And please me give the time.
You know.
Mr. Speaker, in the respect.
Member Bokisi, please.
In that respect.
Don't do that kind of jig in the house. That kind of jig you did is not good for the house.
Mr. Speaker, In accordance with the provision of Standing Order 91, your ruling during Tuesday afternoon, I wish to communicate to this House that I have gathered enough material evidence to substantiate my position that we are not safe in the hands of Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate. And he has the impeccable records of land grabbing and the use of his position of influence to intimidate even children, Mr. Speaker. I have the pictures I will table of Langata Primary School children being tear-gassed by police officers. The horror and the nightmare of the Adrian Muteshi at the hand of William Ruto. Honorable Speaker, let me begin with substantiation. Let me...
No, please, let her. She was looking for the document. You know, she said, when you say one thing, exactly, that's the way to go about. Yes. No, please. Please, Honorable Fatuma, you are doing well.
Yes.
But now, after that, you needed to show the document.
Mr. Speaker, I mentioned about the photographs, and I'm going to table of children being tear-gassed. And it's there. Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, let me begin with the substantiation of my assertion that William Ruto grabbed the belonging to Adrian Muteshi, a parcel of land, 33 Tapsogoi, of which Albert was given vacant possession in 1968, subsequently raised with a deed was issued on 17th March 1989. Honorable Speaker, let me narrate the ordeal of the innocent Kenya went through in the hands of William Ruto and his cooperations, Adrian Muteshi. Like many of us, was an ordinary Kenyan of the modest means. In 1968, he bought a farm in Turbo West in Uasin Gishu district, situated in Kaptabay scheme. The land had permanent self-contained 6-bedroom house, staff quarters, store, just like any typical rural home. No. The whole property, including the farm he sat on 100 acres piece of land, which he supports his purchase in court, the late Adrian produced an application by himself to the Ministry of Land.
No. Honor members.
The evidence is here.
What is this? Please. No. Honorable Fatuma. Now, honor members, we will not proceed this way. When Honorable Fatuma says that this document to prove this, please allow her to bring the document, because Honorable Media of Yambo, are you the one tabling documents? Honorable Junet, are you the one tabling the documents? Surely. You see, the Sergeant at Arms is here to help not you, please. You don't know about the documents. So just give the documents. Honor members, it is not your business to authenticate, to rule on authenticity. So let her bring the documents. So you talked about Langata, bring the document on Langata. Is that the one on Langata? What? No, which is the one on Langata? What is this? Surely. What is this? Honor members, please. Honorable Fatuma Gedi, please. I think let's try to, as much as possible, don't bring emotions into this matter. What? Is this the one on, the one claimed Adrian Gilbert Muteshi? Yeah? No, just no. Honor members. You can never sway me that way. I'm never swayed that easily. No, so Is this a document of ownership? Or you want me to use the judgment?
No, I want to be on record. Mr. Speaker, the document you have.
Yes. No,
Mr. Speaker, no. I have to finish. I am not the speaker.
Please, just relax. Can you relax? Now, honorable, what is wrong with this one? Honorable Millie Odhiambo, please. And I'm not, no, you cannot make it impossible for even, I'm trying to get what Honorable Fatuma is tabling. You are almost singing. I don't know. Surely. No. But you see, Honorable Millie, I thought you should be the first one to really want us to conclude this, because you have some other business which you have already approached me about. Now, why don't we complete this one? Eh? So, Honorable Fatuma Gedi. So, is this the one you?
Mr. Speaker, you have 3 documents.
Yeah.
One is the statement I have.
This is one of them.
Number 2 is the court ruling on the judgment. Sorry.
The High Court judgment.
The High Court judgment. Number 3, you have
National Land Commission.
National Lands Commission's report. And allow me, Mr. Speaker, to finish one by one, then I table. Allow me to finish. Yeah, take me slowly.
Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So, no, honorable members, no, those ones cannot help you. They don't even understand the procedures of the House. Honorable Fatuma, you have given me these 3 documents. So, now look at the grandfather of the House is saying 1. The Honorable Fatuma Gedi has actually said, and there are 3. Yeah. So you see, you are shouting 1, but she has, you know, if you don't listen, you know, I can see you are in a different world. Honorable Fatuma.
No, let her table all. All of them. Then you make a ruling.
Yes. Please. Don't guide me. Don't guide me. I know what's supposed to be done. The Honorable Fatuma, you see, Honorable Fatuma, I think you have given me the 3 documents.
Sure.
Indeed, I want to confirm once again what you said. What is on Hansan? So you said Langata Primary. It says document, isn't it?
No, I still have it here. You only have Muteshi's.
The judgment.
Yes, only.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm supposed to, Speaker, deal with all the...
Just
Mr. Speaker, why I wanted me to do my submissions, at the end of the submissions, I table the evidence, one by one. So what you have is Muteshi. You don't have Langata Primary yet, I have it here. So allow me to finish on Muteshi, I move to Langata Primary, then I submit the evidence.
But Honorable Fatuma, what you are telling me you want to finish with the Muteshi is this court judgment.
But I'm doing my submissions,
Are you suggesting
Mr.
that
Speaker.
you want to summarize the judgment for me to understand or to?
For me, for my submissions, Mr. Speaker.
What submission?
Allow me to finish.
What submission?
I have my points here, yeah. Allow me to finish.
What submission?
On that case, I have to substantiate, Mr. Speaker.
No, Honorable Fatuma. You are not substantiating about the case. You are just, you talked about Muteshi, and you say you have...
Mr. Speaker, so do you want me to table everything without talking? Should I just sit?
Honorable Fatuma Gedi, please. No, Honorable Fatuma Gedi, you are the one, you know, these others who are telling you this or the other, they are not the ones who made the commitment. You are the one who made the commitment about the documents you are going to bring. So you are going to table a document on these 3. That's what we want. Yes. No. Don't give us other needs. Proceed. No. Let her finish. Now. What speech?
Mr. Speaker, the sale is okay. Mr. Speaker, the sale agreement and the loan agreement which he had borrowed to aid his purchase as evidence of the purchase of the now grabbed land, and upon which the court relied to find in his favor. After the purchase, he was given vacant possession, meaning he had the right to occupy and use the land as it was. He then developed the land by fencing it, cultivating it, and planting crops. You know the typical life of a real hustler, not these fake ones in political rallies.
Honorable Fatuma Gedi.
And in the street of Nairobi. He lived with the family on the farm.
Honorable Fatuma Gedi, let me tell you, I'll do this now. I'll do this. If you are not going to table these documents, I'll rule you incapable of doing so, and I'll proceed to make my decision. Please table the documents. You are not able to? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. 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 Table the documents you promised to table. Table the documents you promised to table. Nobody required you to come and make a speech. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi, table the documents. Table the documents. If you don't want to table, if you don't want, you can follow whomever. Honorable Fatuma Gedi, table the documents.
Mr. Speaker, with due respect, don't gag me.
Honorable
with due respect, I must, Mr. Speaker, let me explain what I'm tabling, Mr. Speaker, to Kenyans in this House.
Honorable Fatuma Gedi.
If it is a matter of tabling, the documents are here, but let me explain.
Have you tabled?
I have not tabled, I have it here. What am I tabling? What am I tabling? I have to explain.
No, table them.
I have to explain.
Table them.
I must explain. Kenyans must know. I must explain. What am I tabling? No.
Honorable Fatuma Gedi.
Why? Mr. Speaker, don't gag me. Let me explain to Kenyans in this House. No. I cannot do that.
Honorable Fatuma Gedi, table the documents and then explain.
Please.
Then explain.
I must explain what I'm tabling.
No, table and explain.
No.
Table and explain. Table and explain.
No.
Table then explain. Table then explain what it is that table and explain what it is that you are tabling. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Do I take it that you are unable to table the documents? Do I take Honorable Fatuma Gedi? I will throw you out. You go out. Honorable, who are you now? Honorable Chonga. Honorable Chonga. Honorable Chonga. Honorable Chonga. Honorable Chonga. You are not the one going to determine how she is going to do to table documents. Relax. Why? Relax. Proceed. Proceed, Honorable Fatuma. Proceed. You see, honourable members, many of you are actually interrupting the Honourable Fatuma. You are not allowing her to do what she undertook to do. No. There's no point of. I'm not entertaining any points of order until Honourable Fatuma is through. There's no point of order until she finishes. No. Honourable members, I'm not going to allow. Honourable Fatuma Gedi, proceed.
Mr. Speaker, may I table? May I read first, then I table?
What are you?
Give me time, please. Msiniharakishe. Mos. The truth is bitter. Truth is bitter. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I take this opportunity to table Western Hotel extended extension of its parking lot and Langata Primary playing field and the tear gassing of peoples by photos The point of question is Western Hotel and Kenya Civil Aviation Authority is still active case in court. Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with a man who has no humanity on children.
No, Honourable Fatuma.
May I table?
No. Honourable Wanga, get back to Honourable Wanga. Go back to your seat. Honourable Wanga, go back to your seat. Honourable Wanga, Honourable Gladys Wanga, Honourable Gladys Wanga, Sergeant at Arms, Honourable Wanga, get back to your seat. Go back to your seat. This is not. I mean, what are you doing here? Surely, no. Let the Honourable Fatuma knows what it is that she has brought. Unless you are saying she took them from your house. Please, let's get over this matter. Honourable Fatuma. No point of order. Honourable Fatuma, just go on. Allow
Mr. Speaker,
to,
sir.
No. I'm not. Honourable Fatuma, can you just proceed and table the documents?
Mr. Speaker, with me here I have the document from Kenya National Lands Commission. And the point that was observed by NLC is that the Western Hotel is bona fide purchaser without a notice of any defect in the title. That the land at the time of valuation was overvalued. That Kenya Civil Aviation Authority lost an important asset in this case. That then the Commissioner and the Minister of Lands are to be blamed for occurrences that failed to act on irregular allocation of parcel. That William Ruto, in his own words, accepted, and I have the link I have shared, that he has an interest and he owns Weston.
Table.
These documents of Kenya National Commission. And I table
just table
the pictures.
Just table.
I have tabled.
Proceed. Honourable Junaid have said until she finishes. No. You people, we never came for this. Let her table the document.
Mr. Speaker, the third...
This is on Langata.
You have Langata and you have... Yes.
Then proceed to Taita Taveta. Proceed, Honourable Fatuma.
Okay, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the third...
Fatuma, Honorable Fatuma, please. You have two others. Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma. Order members.
1 minute of silence, Mr. Speaker, in honor of Muteshi.
Honor members, don't. This is not. Why you bring all this drama? Why you bring all this drama?
1 minute of silence.
You know? Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma, please. Honorable Fatuma.
Mr. Speaker, the third. Mr. Speaker, I used to tell this House while I was gathering the material, the information. Okay.
No. Who is giving? Who is? Why are you sitting down?
Junet is my leader, and I have to.
So, Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma Gedi.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
I'm not going to entertain those jokes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, but he's my elder brother, so
it doesn't matter.
Culture,
even if it's your father.
I cannot stand when he's talking.
Even if it's your father. So, you are in the National Assembly. We are in the National Assembly. Honorable Fatuma. Honorable Fatuma, I rule that you have nothing to know. Honorable Fatuma, I will rule that you are unable to proceed to table these others.
I'm tabling.
Why are you engaging in theatrics?
Mr. Speaker, the third report that I wish to table and I want to pardon, Mr. Speaker, I want you to pardon me. On Tuesday, I talked about Laikipia.
Yes.
But I meant Transmara. I meant Transmara, the late Vice President Murumbi's land. I have it here. And not Laikipia.
I'll go by what is here. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. Honorable Fatuma Gedi. I came with a handstand. So we are not going by. Proceed. Give her.
Mr. Speaker. The property known as Intona 2 is a youth.
No. Proceed.
Land measuring approximately 2,090 acres in area have been hived off from the larger Honolulu area. The Honorable Joseph Murumbi, Kenya's second Vice President, through his company Intona Ranch, was then registered the proprietor of the subject property on 1977.
Table it.
So I will table.
Table.
Mr. Speaker, can I explain?
No, table it.
When will I explain?
Table the documents.
When will I explain?
We are literate. I am literate. I will read and interpret them for the House.
Mr. Speaker, in the year 1985, AFC took charge of the subject property to secure a loan facility, 8.6 million advance to Intona Ranch. Original proprietor was then registered the owner of the subject. When the original proprietor defaulted on the loan, why will you switch off the mic? Are you the one to dictate to him? Mr. Speaker, in 2004, members of Maasai community filed Nakuru court in 2004 against Intona Ranch. The AFC on the principal ground that they were entitled to the subject land on account of adverse possession. The court in 2011 ordered that 99 claimants will each get 10 acres out of the subject property of the remainder, about 1,000 acres. That included 20 acres occupied by Honorable Murumbi. will be retained by AFC. Honorable Speaker, dissatisfied with Justice Awuko's judgment, 1998 claimant filed an appeal in 2013. AFC filed a cross appeal insisting the community was not. In 2016, Mr. Speaker, there was an attempt by legal representation by Murumbi to challenge the...
Honorable Fatuma Gedi, please table the document. Table the document. You have no business telling me no, you. Honorable Babu Awino, we are in the National Assembly. Honorable Babu Awino, what did you just say? Honorable Babu Awino, I order you out of the chamber. I order you out of the chamber. Out of the chamber. Babu Awino, I order you out of the chamber. I order you out of the chamber. Honorable Babu Awino, I order you out of the chamber. We need mature debate here. Honorable Babu Awino, out of the chamber. Sergeant at Arms. Out of the chamber, out of the chamber. Out of the chamber. Out of the chamber. Out of the chamber. Out. Out. Out of the chamber. Babu Awino, out of the chamber. Honorable Babu Awino, out. Out. Honorable Abdul Karim. Honorable Abdul Karim. Out. Honorable Abdul Karim. Honorable. Let him go out. Let him leave the chamber. Out of the chamber. Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms. No. Out. Take him out. Take him out. Take him out. And Honorable Chen Chonga, Honorable Ken Chonga, Honorable Ken Chonga, it is also disorderly. Honorable Babu Awino, you know, out. Honorable, you know, honorable members, it will not change. It will not change. It will not change. Well, even all this. Sarah. You keep this, huh? Okay, honor members, those who have seats or who feel like they can take seats, take seats. Those who feel like they can take seats, you can take your seats. Now, honor members, these are matters that they are not new. You know, fortunately, we have seen this before, and it does not even in any way cause any anxiety. So we deal with it in the appropriate manner. But that's such at times you can resume your places. My order for Babu Awino to leave the house, the chamber, has not been vacated. But it is a case that the Honorable Babu Awino has, with the help of some members, refused to leave the chamber. Honor members. No. Honor members, I know, I know the rules of the House. In a situation of this nature, in fact, for your information, let me read to you, standing on number 112. Take your seats, so that we don't... Honourable members, standing on number 112 provides as follows. In the event of grave disorder arising in the House, the Speaker may adjourn the House forthwith or suspend any sitting for a period to be determined by him or her. In the event of grave disorder arising in the committee of the whole House, the Speaker shall resume the chair forthwith. In the present circumstances, honourable members, I deem that there is grave disorder. We are not able to continue. Honourable members, when the Speaker's order is being disobeyed and the people assisting in that are members, other members, honourable members, that is grave disorder. We cannot continue with the sitting. So, honourable members, I have seen this before, and therefore, the member for Kilifi South, Honourable Ken Chonga, I'm on my feet, Honourable Chonga. It has the tail end of the 12th Parliament, and I'm surprised that this Honourable Chonga. Now, because you are among the people who are assisting in the creation of this disorder, surely you are the least that should even be given a chance to say anything, because you shouldn't even be here. So, honorable members, applying the provisional standing order 112, the time being 13 minutes after 5 p.m. The proceedings of today are adjourned. The House will resume on Tuesday, 10th of May, 2022 at 2:30 p.m.